Edge densification means increasing the throughput per square meter. Today that means deploying any number of technologies based on the venue, carrier involvement, and business model requirements. So how do you determine the best solution for the application, and how is this going to become repeatable and easier? On this TI Now panel at Mobile World Congress 2016, brought to you by Solid, are Ken Sandfeld, President at Solid Americas, Ray LaChance, President and CEO at Zenfi, Nick Marshall, Research Director at ABI Research, and Chris Yeager, Managing Director at BAI Communications. And gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Chris, I'm going to start with you. Every venue, indoor or outdoor, large or small, requires or has different requirements for small cell or DAS solutions. What is the variable that exists, and if you can give us a use case, that'd be great, to determine which technology is best?
Yes, thanks, Abe. Look, there are so many categories of venues that we can talk about. If we talk about shopping malls or hospitals, office buildings, airports, mass transit systems. So we need a whole toolkit of solutions to solve those, both for the capacity and the cost side of the model we talked about. The use case I can give you is New York City Subway. We have deployed there a highly ruggedized multi-carrier, multi-band DAS network, which is the only solution that we could deploy today to do the task that's required to cover 20 million square feet of public space for 4 carriers, averaging about 4 bands each in that space. We have minimum space to work in, and we have extreme environmental conditions. Today we don't see a small cell solution that could address that that situation in New York City Subway. However, we keep looking forward to see what may be coming from the technology developers.
Nick, I'd like to talk to you about standardization for edge densification technologies, and really, what are the market trends or industry trends that are influencing those standards?
Right. So I see edge densification that's increasing the throughput per square meter, as you've mentioned, and in my mind that means by any means possible. And so we have to leverage both licensed and unlicensed technologies to get that done. So in licensed, we must follow the 3GPP roadmap, carrier aggregation, higher order MIMO, 256 QAM are all techniques that are coming. Also, unlicensed, there's a renaissance, if you like, in LTE and its use with Wi-Fi, and that can bring in quite a high megabits per second per square meter to the facility. Then we have virtualization, we mentioned, CRAN, hoteling, and mobile edge computing, which brings IT functions to the edge, MEC. So these are all important trends that are going to be rising.
Ray, I want to ask you, how do you feel about fiber really being a hugely significant part of edge densification structures and technologies, and what opportunities does fiber bring?
Well, I certainly want to answer that question. That fiber is an absolute necessity here. A resounding yes. It's key to the future of densification. And the things it's going to enable us to do, traditionally these networks were built with copper interconnectivity between antennas, so RF processing connected to baseband processing and close proximity. The advent of pervasive, high-speed, low-latency fiber connectivity between antennas and baseband processing at distributed colos like we spoke about before are really essential here. That enables us to place low-cost antennas any and everywhere, fiber them back on high-speed, low-latency links to baseband processing, and really get economies of scale as we build the network. So fiber is absolutely essential to making this whole ecosystem work. So the front haul piece, antenna connectivity to the colo, and then colo piece back to the core network. That's where we're going, and fiber is going to make all that possible.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you, Ray. And to that extent also, it's also important, in addition to having that fiber, it's going to be very critical that the use of that fiber is done properly. So in the past, everything has been more of a point-to-point dark fiber play. Going forward, more efficient use of the shared resource, there comes the shared word again, so that we can drop multiple types of services at any given location in a more efficient manner. So we're going to use solutions like advanced WDM solutions and PON solutions to be able to drop, whether it's Ethernet, television, front haul, all those different type of applications, all on the same fiber infrastructure, and that's really going to be key to the maximum use of those networks.
Please.
I was just going to comment that I totally agree with Ken, and more fiber is better, but at some point we're going to run out. We're talking about in a city like New York, we have thousands of antenna locations today, and we're ultimately going to have hundreds of thousands of locations. And if we can't reuse the fiber plant that we put in, we're going to run out of duct capacity. We're going to run out of CapEx to make these connections. So the reuse of the fiber infrastructure through intelligent electronics is clearly the way that we're going to have to go.
Nick, I want to ask you about, when you talked about fiber, let's talk about Wi-Fi and its role in edge densification. And why do you have to make an argument for Wi-Fi?
Yeah, Wi-Fi, particularly .11ac and Wave 2, can get you up to a gigabit per second. And so what we're seeing right now, and probably at the show, is the emergence of LTE and Wi-Fi technologies like LTE Wi-Fi aggregation, LWA, LTE unlicensed, where the data plane is Wi-Fi and the control plane is LTE. We have license assisted access, or LAA, and finally we have the emergence of Multifire, which is going to be in a couple of years' time LTE in a unlicensed band. So as an enterprise or a middle price owner, you could just put that down and have LTE throughout the building without having to have a license. So
for a venue owner, having a high quality Wi-Fi network alongside a cellular coverage network means that there's all sorts of applications the building owner can bring into play to affect smart building technology wirelessly.
yeah, absolutely.
Now I know that there's a word that's been thrown around on this panel already, the middle prize. Ken, I want to go to you for our viewers that don't know what the middle prize is. Can you quickly define that for us, but also talk about some of the roadblocks for the middle prize in relation to what we're talking about?
Sure. The middle prize is, we typically have been calling it the 70 to 80% of the buildings in the U.S. and internationally even that are not covered. They're the buildings that are either too big too small for the carriers to want to connect to, and they don't fit into a bucket that no one really wants to pay attention to. And so you have uncovered facilities. So the roadblocks to that are really the opening of the core networks, the virtualization of those networks, essentially an all IP core. That is one of the biggest roadblocks we have to creating solutions that can solve for that middle price. And the reason is we need to be able to reduce the costs of those solutions by having that open IP core that allows vendors like Solid to manufacture new innovative technologies to cover the edge. And so really that opening of the core will increase ecosystem access and make companies like us be able to develop products for that. And so that really will open up the middle price segment.
It's always good to have a high-level discussion about the edge densification, really from a technology perspective. So we appreciate all of you being on this panel.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. And as always, you can get all of our programming here at Mobile World Congress 2016 on TIAnow.org. And as always, you can follow us on Twitter at TIA_now. So long.